Alright, so before we begin this video, the first part of it is going to be me explaining words and what they mean. The second part of it is going to be just personal thoughts and opinions, essentially. And the third part is going to be where we discuss furry drama. I will put a timer for which topic starts when. So whichever one you're interested, you can go into that one. However, I would recommend that you watch it from start to finish, obviously. Now, in this video, there will be mentions of SA, and if you're not in a mood to be hearing about that, understandable. Just skip to a different video. And yeah, apart from that, I do hope you enjoy this video. And oh, wait. My son, Atom. Mwah. Yep. I'll see you later.
Now, let's begin with what gatekeeping even is. Now, gatekeeping is the activity of controlling and usually limiting general access to something. In this case, the furry fandom, I believe, that the furry fandom should engage in a reasonable and healthy level of gatekeeping towards very specific and only a handful of types of individuals, which we will be talking about. And I'm not alone in this thought. Although our reasons and targets may differ, the main focus is the same. A healthy level and reasonable amount of gatekeeping should definitely be done. Now, thankfully, as far as I have been able to notice, not only via social media, but also via simply having discussions amongst other fellow furries over the years, it is pretty obvious that the furry fandom will do absolutely everything it can to make it very abundantly clear that zoos and, the P word groups are not welcome and they never will be. No matter how much they try to claw their way into the fandom, back into the fandom, they immediately are kicked out the moment they are noticed. And kicking out is not necessarily done in like a membership revoke thing, because that's not really a thing in the furry fandom. This isn't an organization with like IDs of itself and so on. No, but more like basically in social media, those disgusting bastards are found and immediately bombarded with messages, making it abundantly clear that their disgusting and immoral behavior is not acceptable within the furry fandom, and they will not find acceptance here. Only other disgusting people like them will provide them some level of acceptance, but nobody else will, which are not as common as anti-furries would like you to believe. The only one where I personally believe there isn't enough of a reaction towards is indecent exposure, within the furry fandom. And indecent exposure is a form of SA, which unfortunately does occur. For example, in FWA, although many have claimed that there has been individuals having sex in the lobby, as well as the having sex in the halls, as well as the lobby. The one, I have seen a few pictures, and some of them are definitely from FWA. However, these are very limited. A full-on video or photograph of individuals, doing the act, I still have not come across. However, the pictures that I have witnessed, which you're going to see a reaction towards in this video, as well as a certain rat bastard, we're gonna get into that topic. The solution appears to have already been found, and good news, it's starting to slowly become more popular, which again we will discuss in this video. We should gatekeep not just for safety and comfort, but for many more reasons that we will be getting into in this video. Now, although you have most likely already heard of the rainforest fiasco, even if you aren't a furry, considering how outrageously shit that was, and how popular it was to talk about for a long time, and unfortunately the FWA Furry Week Atlanta convention has apparently been like this, which we will be discussing about, because there are some things that are definitely over-exaggerated and FWA definitely was not as bad as a lot of people are claiming. Now, another important thing that should be mentioned is that not everybody had a bad time in those conventions. Some were able to make fun in the fandom, and good for them for being able to enjoy things even when shitty situations occur around them. That's really good for you. I hope you keep having fun. Now, a big chunk of the images and videos here I obviously cannot show you. But if you go on Twitter and take a look at the FWA tag and slowly scroll down, you will see exactly how bad some parts of it got. For example, someone had their fucking finger bitten off. And there's also a fire thingy, but that may have been due to a cooking oil accident on behalf of the staff and not related to the furries in the convention, which again we will be discussing. Cars got broken into, thefts and fights broke out, which I'm not surprised. That one has been something that occurs in every convention, not just for everyone these days. Somebody has fucking rabies or some shit. The way is going, somebody bit out my fucking finger, yeah. What the fuck? Yeah, I'm actually curious. Did they save his fingers? Sadly, they couldn't put it back on. It was too far gone, but it's okay. God, man, they couldn't even put the finger back. Oh, goodness. That is horrible. Alright, so last night around 2 o'clock in the morning, there was an incident involving another person, which that person was having a bad reaction to drugs he took. The person bit off my finger, and I can use any help possible for my medical bills. Another night at a hotel. Goodness, man. Yeah, in fact, let me just... If you want to help... Injury, you want to... Yeah. This right here. If possible, if you have some extra cash laying around that you're not planning on using for anything, go ahead and just help this person out, man. For fuck's sake. Do people have fucking rabies or some shit? Goodness, man. If you can't handle drugs, if you don't know if you can handle drugs, don't fucking take the drugs. I can already hear the druggies coping the fuck out right now. Since we're here, let's have a quick little discussion related to drugs real quick. Obviously, it's gonna be quick, because I don't want this video to be dedicated to drugs. I'll make a separate video dedicated to drugs later on, but let's have a quick little discussion about drugs. Unfortunately, depending on your genetics, there is a pretty good chance of using cannabis causing psychotic episodes. Like, using cannabis in overwhelming amounts can increase the risk of developing psychotic illness, which includes schizophrenia. And again, before the druggies start screaming at me, remember how I said genetics. Unfortunately, there are some individuals with certain genetics that makes them predisposed to the risk of cannabis causing schizophrenia as well as causing a psychotic episode. Keep in mind, I have been around weed smokers before, and I know that for most of them, this is not even close of a problem. However, for those of you who have genetics for it, unfortunately, this is a big risk. And also, I do not trust most of you fuckers to be reasonable when it comes to the amount of drugs that you consume. Not even myself, hence why I do not use drugs. I don't trust myself enough to be using drugs. And if you do not know if you can handle drugs, be it because, genetics or something else, just don't fucking do it. Be patient. Go to a psychiatrist, test things out in a professional environment and safe environment, and figure out how things are going to be for you, and then start going and using them. Beware, this guy literally grabbed my wrist and tried to take me away at the rave while I was next to my two partners. He also threatened to kill my boyfriend. If you see him tonight, be cautious. Thank you to the con staff and APD for acting quick. What the fuck? And of course he's wearing a shirt like... Oh my god, of course he's wearing a shirt like this. You absolute disgusting waste of sperm. Oh my god. Now, when it comes to public indecency and just extreme amounts of very obviously sexual things going on, the biggest thing that you will usually see is that, oh, it was done during an hour or during a festival where minors were not around. And that is a fair argument. That is a fair argument, absolutely. However, because the con is made all ages inclusive and it is not for adults only, it is still a risk because, again, it's all ages appropriate. As a result, minors will most likely be there.
So, right now, outside, there is nobody. And usually, there aren't any minors around because this is a mainly retiree area where mainly retiree people come and spend their last few years here. That's what Akbuk is usually known for. So it is very unlikely for there to be a minor anywhere. And most of the elderly people are inside their houses right now because it's summer and it is hot as fuck. Which means the outside is completely empty, right? I can go over there and jerk off. And most likely nobody is going to see it. However, if the most unlucky shit happens and some family comes over with a car, they're going to visit their retired grandma, and I happen to be over there jerking off, now I have traumatized every single one of them. And the father is probably going to kill me. Now, if some of you are thinking, but Cosmic, you didn't know the car was going to come over there. Which means you didn't know that. They didn't know you were over there jerking off either. So nobody is at the blame, right? No. Why? Because I know that because I can go inside my house, I can go upstairs to my room where not a single soul except for me is in there and jerk off in my privacy over there. Not taking the risk of potentially traumatizing some random fucker. You get the issue? It's the same thing. It's a con. There are a lot of people in there. Even if it's the middle of the night where minors are not likely to be there, why would you take the risk of potentially traumatizing them?
Now, notice how I said in public spaces. If it is not in a public space and it is just two consenting adults or multiple consenting adults going to a private spot and having some fun, there is no issue there. It's nobody's business apart from those two or more than the two individuals that are getting involved in that situation. So don't be a dickhead getting mad about people simply having sex in their own private spot. That is not your business and neither is it mine. The only time it is when it's in a public space. To put it simply, engaging in these kind of behaviors in a convention that is inclusive to all ages and not restricted to adults only is just a dumb thing to do. Now, before I stop talking about this, I would also like to make this very clear. I ain't no fucking Puritan. I am just as horny as you fuckers are. But there is a time and place, boo. Time and place. Hug them in the streets and fuck them in the sheets, not the public.